Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to go over the homework for U8L3. Here's the answers for the first question. What you're trying to do, they want us to try and see visually what happens when we're moving. We have different equations with virtually the same numbers. For example, on question 1A and B, the only thing that is changing is the -6 or the 1. The x squared staying the same. So you can see what's happening is with the -6, my graph shifted down. It went down 6 from the y-axis, yes? And then the B was up 1, so it moved up 1 on the x-axis. But take a look at C and D. This is where it gets interesting. In the parentheses, when it's with the x, if you will, in the squaring, it's actually shifting it with C and D, left and right. And interestingly, do you see anything interesting? Is that when the number inside is positive, it's shifted to the left. Let me write that, left. Yeah. When the number inside was positive, it actually did counterintuitively what you would expect. It shifted to the left. When the number inside was negative, it actually shifted to the right. So when you used your calculator for this, you actually saw this happening and maybe you didn't think much about it, you just did the work. But this is important information. So when it's not in the parentheses, we're dealing with movement on the y-axis, right? And it's just going to do what it always did, y-axis. But when you are moving inside the parenthesis, negative and positive, it's counterintuitive. It actually is the same number, different sign, moving to the x-axis, okay? All I can do is tell you is that you have to kind of put it in your mind and try and remember it. If you need to, you can just put it in your calculator. That's fine, but you can't always do that. Sometimes they'll say, "Well, what if I did this? What would happen?" But hopefully, many times you can just put in your calculator and you can have an idea about what's going to happen. Okay. So here's the next question. So 2, what's happening with 2 is now we're doing both. So look what's happening here with A. We're actually going to be shifting. We're shifting 1 to the right, sorry, and then we're shifting 4 down. So you see how A went over, 1 over, and then down 4. With B, it shifted 3 to the left, okay, on the x-axis, and then it shifted 1 down. Okay? So you can actually put them all together and see how that goes. Question 3, I guess it is. They want you to know what's happening. So look what's happening here. It moved 1, 2, 3 over to the right, which means it's going to be counterintuitive. It's going to be negative. So it's going to be x minus 3 squared. And then it moved 1, 2, 3, 4 down, negative 4. So the correct answer is 1. Next page. So on these ones, what they wanted us to do is state the turning points. And if you could see from all these examples and for what we did with Kirk, is that the turning point in this example, for example, is 3 comma negative 4. I can see that from the graph, and then I can also see, look at this, same number, 3, different sign. It was negative, now it's positive. And the y is same number, same sign. Both of them, in this case, are negative 4. So in question, my dog is actually having a dream. It's so cute. If you hear her in the background, you'll hear her going, woo, woo. Anyway, don't worry about the A term in A and B. It just actually disappears. The only thing you have to worry about is what's in the parentheses and what's outside of the parentheses with the plus or the minus. Okay, I just want to point out question E. Question E is backwards. No big deal. It's negative x squared, not negative 9. So with the x squared, it's 0. It didn't move any place there, and it went down. Sorry, and then it went. It says downward. Oh, downward is upside down with whether it's going to be a maximum or minimum. Okay, so take a look at that. The final ones are going to be word problems, and I like this one because this is like a real world scenario. They're giving us the equation. At what height does the object begin at t equals 0? Remember, that's always going to be the y. I'm sorry, at 0. Yeah, at t equals 0, sorry, t equals 0. So you plug in 0 for t, but then you had to solve this because this had more going on than just having the y intercept. So you found it out, and it's 33.6 meters. Then at what is the peak, the turning point, so we know that the turning point is going to be 210. Why do we know that? Because it's the same number. The x value is going to be the same number, different sign, so it's going to be 6, and it's going to be the same number, same sign for the y value. By the way, the way I'm saying it too is how I always say it to all my students. Use your calculator to find all the other numbers, and then they wanted us to sketch it. Okay, so it's a nice question. Hopefully take a moment to pause and you can take a look at it. I don't want to talk about 6. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Okay. So hopefully I'll talk to everyone later today in the office hours at 1 o'clock. Bye now.